Breaking news right now at 7. Iran declares the Strait of Hormuz is now, quote, completely open in line with Israel-Lebanon ceasefire. Coming up on Sunrise, what the move means for peace talks between the U.S. and Iran. Plus,
this number will represent the single largest defunding of the district attorney's office in the history of Multnomah County.
Multnomah County leaders fighting back against the new proposal that would make major cuts to help fill an $11 million shortfall, where County Chair Jessica Vega Peterson says she wants to make those cuts coming up.
And speaking of shortfalls, Portland Public Schools is facing some of its own. They're looking to slash tens of millions of dollars and may close schools to do it. I'll tell you why Title I school parents are pushing back. As Sunrise, streaming at 7, starts right now.
good morning, and thank you for joining us live at 7 o'clock. I'm China Green.
And I'm Matthew Herchick. Happy Friday, everyone. Rod Hill and Chris McGinnis standing by with a look at a nice morning so far of weather and traffic.
Yeah, I'm going to start off with two of what I think currently are the prettiest cameras. This one up at Timberline, and again, that's more than 20 inches of still fairly fresh snow that fell, 2 days back. Beautiful blue sky up top, some clouds down low. It's chilly if you're going to the mountain early this morning. It's 20 degrees up there, but we'll be warming into at least the mid-30s, I think, Timberline this afternoon. This one really pretty with the early morning sun bouncing off of the state capitol, 36 down in Salem. We are watching chilly temperatures now in many cases. The sun popped up before 6:30 this morning. We're starting to see numbers already rise. So 35 Hillsboro, 34 in Battleground where it was freezing. We have seen at least a few scattered frosty areas. In fact, still 32 in Corvallis and right near freezing in Dallas and McMinnville. So some of you're going to see a little bit of white on the ground. To the bus stop we go. We'll call the chilly start about 38 to 40 on average out the door, but it will be dry and we're going to see increasing sun. It's kind of partly to mostly cloudy out there right now. 53 at noon and about 60 when the kids get out of school later today. Here's Chris.
That looks super good, Rod. Thank you for that. We'll get you out the door with a quick look at the roads. I-5 through North Portland still zipping right along. Usually the Friday morning commute's a little lighter than Monday through Thursday, at least at this hour, and we're holding true to form this morning. So no major freeway trouble out there just yet. As I show you the west side, we are tapping the brake a little bit, maybe just a little bit. Somebody tap the brakes. Nobody's tapping the brakes. Highway 26 coming down the hill. That looks good. So we're off to a good start as far as that's concerned. A traffic alert for this weekend in downtown. The Broadway Bridge will have to close this weekend as the county does some of the final work on that deck replacement. That closure starts at 5 o'clock tomorrow morning. The bridge reopens at 11:30 on Sunday evening. The closure is for all motorized traffic. The south sidewalk will remain open for bikes and pedestrians. China, Matthew, back to you.
Thank you, Chris. We start with breaking news overnight. Portland police say one person is dead after what appears to be a hit and run in northeast Portland. This happened just after 11 o'clock last night on Northeast Siskiyou Court near 148th Avenue. Officers responded to a report of a person down in the street. When they arrived, they found the person dead at the scene. Police say that the person appears to have been hit by a car and the driver left the scene. Anyone with information is asked to contact Portland Police.
And we do our best to take a survivor full circle. So from the moment they lost their home or their dwelling to getting back in their new home.
Well, that is Mark Brooks that you just heard from there. We first met him 5 years ago when he launched a nonprofit aimed at helping Oregon victims with the devastating wildfires. But according to the Oregon Attorney General's office, in 2023, the Cascade Relief Team ran out of money and Brooks abruptly fired staff.
So now the AG's office is suing Brooks, saying that he drained the nonprofit's accounts for personal use. The suit alleges Brooks stole more than $800,000 in donations. He spent $270,000 on personal credit cards, loans, and bills, $67,000 on rent, child support, liquor, strip clubs, and jewelry, and $11,000 in cash withdrawals, more than half at casinos. In a statement, AG Dan Rayfield said, quote, Oregonians donated to this organization because they wanted to help their neighbors recover from wildfires and floods. We will be sure that he is held accountable for every dollar he took. Besides getting Brooks to repay all stolen or wasted donations, the lawsuit seeks to bar him from ever handling money for a charitable organization. We reached out to Brooks, but we have not heard back.
A proposed Multnomah County budget is sparking concern this morning. County leaders say it would require more than $93 million in cuts to close a major funding gap.
Yeah, some of the biggest impacts could hit homeless services and the district attorney's office. Sunrise reporter Corey Johnson joins us in the studio with a closer look at what's on the table here. Corey.
Yeah, Matthew, China, the county says these are difficult cuts needed to balance the budget, which now sits at about $3.9 billion, down from last year. The cuts were proposed by Multnomah County Chair Jessica Vega Peterson. And Thursday, officials said they're facing a $93.2 million gap, driven in part by lower property tax revenue. The general fund, one of the county's most flexible funding sources, alone has an $11.1 million shortfall. And in the proposed budget, some of the largest cuts would come from homeless services, with a $67 million reduction. That could mean closing more than 600 adult shelter beds and cutting back on family shelter vouchers. Now, the proposal also includes staff reductions, including about 166 positions across the county. At the same time, the district attorney's office could see a 5% cut. That's roughly about $2 million, and lose about 15 employees, including prosecutors. That budget is already facing pushback.
It certainly will be devastating when we've lost resources. In that last budget where we were cut, we have seen those losses have direct effects in the community.
There are going to be impacts, and that's unfortunate. Our employees are amazing. They're so dedicated to the mission of this county, so we're going to do the best we can.
Now, some leaders warn these cuts could impact public safety and critical services, but the budget isn't finalized just yet. County commissioners will spend the next few weeks taking public input before a final vote in June. At 8, we break down more of the proposed cuts coming up. Matthew, China.
Corey, thank you. Well, across the Pacific Northwest, many school districts are dealing with budget cuts. Oregon's biggest school district, Portland Public Schools, is no exception.
And with concern the district will close schools, parents of students at Title I schools are voicing their concerns. Sunrise reporter Thomas Schultz is live at Jason Lee Elementary School. Thomas, how are parents feeling about this right now?
Yeah, well, look, guys, parents are nervous, as you might expect, with many of them uncertain whether or not their kids are going to be in the same buildings in a couple of years. For parents and kids alike, school can be a place full of joy.
Oh, it's wonderful. It's a game changer.
Rebecca Rasco has a second grade son at Jason Lee Elementary School. It's just 5 blocks from her Northeast Portland home. So her son, like many kids, walks.
It's just a really good feeling. It's a really good community here.
Over the past few years, he's fallen in love with his school.
They have wonderful staff, principal, counselors, like everything there.
And Jason Lee is unique. It's a Title I school, meaning at least 40% of the students come from low-income homes. A third of the kids have learning differences that require special support, including Rasco's son, who gets help learning to read.
They truly treat every child there as an individual.
Though parents like Rasco and David Jones, whose daughter goes to Vestal Elementary, worry their kids' schools could close. Portland Public faces a $50 million shortfall and is looking into closing schools.
This isn't just a decision about closing schools. This is a process about what happens to those schools when they close.
It would leave a big hole for Jason Lee to not be there.
And it's not just parents at Jason Lee Elementary or Vestal right behind us who are worried about the possibility of their schools closing. Parents we spoke with tell us that they've created a coalition of parents at a handful of Title I schools with the hopes of persuading Portland Public to keep their schools open.
Title I schools sometimes don't have the loudest voices.
Portland Public hasn't decided if it will close schools, but they are considering it.
We are walking this process alongside you.
Over the weekend, the district discussed the idea with parents.
And we're no different than any other district that's experiencing declining enrollment.
And as conversations continue, Title I parents push to keep their students' schools open.
We got to fight for our kids. We got to fight for our community. This is what we have to do.
A Portland Public spokesperson tells us that the plan right now is for the school district to present a plan to the school board by December detailing how they're going to make up for these budget cuts. They do reiterate that as of right now, they do not know when or if any schools will have to close. Guys.
Our Thomas Schultz reporting live this morning. Thomas, thank you.
Your time now is 7:09. We are taking a live look outside, courtesy of our Dallas Sky Cam. Pretty clear picture of Mount Hood today there, Rod.
Yeah, and all that Beautiful fresh snow. Again, as you get up in elevation, more than 2 feet actually fell on the mountains. That's always great to see in mid-April. The weekend is going to be great. I've had chances of rain, I think, all week on my 7-day forecast for Sunday. This low is what I've been looking at, but all weather data now supports the low, most of the clouds and all of the rain staying out offshore throughout the weekend, which gives us a dry, warming forecast. Here we are. Now, we have kind of a mixed bag of clouds out there this morning, but we are dry, and moving forward, this is going to be a partly to mostly sunny day. In fact, beautiful blue skies from Chinook Winds Casino Resort in Lincoln City, 39 degrees. We've seen some scattered frosty areas here in the valley this morning as expected. This is one of the spots where there may be some frost on some of the grass out over the reserve golf course from the Explore Tualatin Valley camera in Aloha. Temperature here has actually started to warm up a little bit, 35 degrees. I think it's up 1 degree. And you can see a lot of clouds over Portland, but we're getting some sun breaking through. 44 is the number from the Rose City camera. This will be a dry day, as I mentioned, partly to mostly sunny statewide, and everybody's going to be a little bit warmer than what we've seen the last couple of days. So at least after being in the 40s, getting up into the 50s in eastern Oregon today, nearing 60 in central Oregon. Winds are light out in the gorge this morning. Shows the Dow 62 at 5 o'clock. Timberline 36, 37 for a high. It's 20 up there right now. And then we've got temperatures at least, I think, for a high reaching 60 from Eugene all the way up through Portland and Vancouver. Portland, in fact, could go as warm as 63. All right, so with the dry weekend, mostly sunny tomorrow, some cloudiness potentially on Sunday. But look at the numbers, 73 Saturday, 74 Sunday, still 72 on Monday, a shower threat. But we might stay dry until Tuesday and Wednesday, when right now it makes sense that we have a decent chance of rain pushing inland. That, of course, would drop temperatures. Here's Chris McGinnis.
All right, Rod, thank you for that. We'll get you out the door. After the snow and the higher terrain of the Cascades, you can still see looks a little slick up there. That's live at Highway 26 at Government Camp. So be aware of that heading to and from Central Oregon over the Cascade Passes this morning. Down low for the rest of us, we are rolling right along. I-5 through Wilsonville. There's your northbound commute heading towards the bottom of your screen. That's in pretty good shape. We'll switch gears and take you up to North Portland. This is I-5 near Lombard. The southbound commute also looking pretty good. And been working hard trying to find trouble spots out there. There are none. That's good. We're off to a good start. No major freeway issues out there at this moment. China, back to you.
Thank you, Chris.
In our culture, the wait staff don't get paid a living wage, and they rely on their tip.
A global sporting event meets America's tipping culture. Coming up, why the FIFA World Cup is bringing the topic of tipping back into the spotlight, and what some restaurants are doing to avoid the confusion. Don't go anywhere. Sunrise continues after this.
Want more Sunrise? We got you covered.
You can stream an extra 2 hours of live morning news on KGW streaming apps.
Good morning.
That means more local stories and extended coverage of breaking news.
Plus live weather and traffic updates as they happen.
And this is our first trouble spot of the morning.
We have a gorgeous day coming up.
We are live on KGW Sunrise, weekday mornings from 5 to 9. Stream on your time with KGW.
Matt, how long is this break in the rain going to last?
About another day, Christine. Again, another atmospheric river hitting the northwest. This is significant rainfall coming our way.
You'll definitely want to be extra cautious.
Certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
We've got the potential for some tree limbs or even trees or power lines to come down.
Of course, when you hear thunder, it's always best to take cover.
On Weather Impact Alert Days, stream extended coverage on KGW+.
Well, in case you have missed it, you can catch the Mariners on KGW again later on this evening. They are taking on division rival, the Texas Rangers. The pregame show here on KGW starts at 6 o'clock with first pitch at 6:40. If you're looking to tune into KGW News at 6, you can find that streaming live over on KGW+.
And with the FIFA World Cup kicking off in June, fans from around the world will be traveling here to the U.S., and many of them are coming from countries where tipping is just not a thing.
That's right, and that's why some restaurants in the Boston area are planning ahead by adding gratuity automatically during the tournament. Oscar Margain explains.
In our culture, the wait staff don't get paid a living wage, and they rely on their tips.
It's the reality in America. What was initially seen as optional has become more of an expectation.
I'd say 20% would be fair.
That may be the case here, but tipping culture is not the same across the globe, and in some parts, just non-existent.
I really hope that the people that are coming overseas do learn that people should be tipped for their hard work.
To avoid getting lost in translation and avoid awkward situations for fans coming to the 2026 FIFA World Cup, some businesses in the Boston area are seeking to set a clear standard, a 20% included gratuity.
We want everyone to be on the same page. We want everyone to do the same thing. That way, if they come to Davio's one night and they go to another restaurant the next night, they're treated the same.
Davio's Italian restaurant owner and Massachusetts Restaurant Association board member Steve DiFilippo says customers will be informed of the gratuity on their menus across all their restaurants during the 6 weeks of the tournament.
Servers and bartenders are the lifeblood of our industry. We would never want them to get hurt.
Last month's international friendly at Gillette Stadium between France and Brazil served as a test run.
We didn't have any issues at that point in time.
Christine Peterson is a bartender at Davio's on Patriot Plaza next to the stadium. She says the included gratuity means a more reliable paycheck.
That's primarily how we do get paid, is through our tips, and that's why I feel comfortable with our manager and our owners that they will take care of us.
I think it's a fine idea. You want to make sure that your workers are getting paid.
Yeah, and it's a good.
They do rely on that money. It's a big deal.
You're big on this topic because your mother works in a tip industry.
Yeah, I mean, she makes most of her money off of tips. I mean, her weekly paycheck, she's been at the same place for 38 years now.
Crazy?
Her biweekly paycheck is maybe like $300. It's absurd.
If they're upfront about it.
I just think it goes back to the classic conversation of employers just need to pay their employees money instead of, hey, you can work here and then we'll pay you this much, but then you do your tips. You go make money.
And it points out the fact that story largely about different cultures. You come from a country like my wife is Korean, and then there's no tipping in Seoul, I think, in Korea as a whole. So you've got to know when you travel what you're supposed to do, right?
Because it can come off as rude.
Yeah, I even remember when I went to England, it's not a thing there. Like you go to a pub or something like that and you leave, they're like, why are you leaving money?
Now, if you see me on a sunny day, I'll be walking around. Often I will have a tip jar. On a sunny, warm day, I may do this over the weekend, just put something in there.
A little something.
Just a little something. I get it if it's rainy and cloudy, you don't want to do it. But if I'm walking out on a sunny, warm day, come on. Here's our low offshore. And it looks like now all weather models keep most of the clouds, not all of them, but most of them, and the rain offshore, which sets the table for us to be fantastic weather this weekend. Futurecast is going to show this. All weather models now agree. Partly to mostly sunny skies across our two states today. Here's the rain, but still staying way out to sea tomorrow at noon on Saturday. Here are some thicker clouds coming in Sunday, but this does keep the rain offshore. Now, obviously the rain, now it's getting close. I wouldn't say there's a 0% chance of getting some moisture along the beach on Sunday. If you're going to be at the coast Sunday, just keep an eye for a potential of a changing forecast. But the models do generally hold the rain off and give us mostly sunny skies tomorrow and partly sunny skies on Sunday. This is kind of cool. This is the bottom of it's kind of been covered up, but this was a flattening anvil top right here from Seaside where there have been scattered showers showing up on radar this morning. Astoria had some showers overnight that were measurable, but right now generally it's dry up and down the Oregon coast, and partly cloudy, 38 degrees in Seaside. Here's a pretty shot out over the vineyards. It looks to me like that could be some frost on the grounds there from the Chehalem Tasting Room out in Sherwood. The temperature nearby is 39 degrees. And this is a shot up in the West Hills. The Oregon Zoo is probably going to be busy this weekend with warming temperatures and just delightful spring days expected. 42 is the number right now. Portland PDX, one of the warmer spots, 44. Salem's now down to 36. Newport 36 as well. Cold out east, Bend 25 down to 19 degrees out in Burns. Here is the forecast for today. Right now, it's kind of a mixed bag. Some areas are mostly cloudy, others partly cloudy, but we think generally goes on to be mostly sunny. We'll warm up to 60 or better. And similar situation up in Southwest Washington. This shows 62 in Battleground and 63 in Vancouver. I think Portland at least hit 60. Maybe we go to 63. And then at least 70 to 73 Saturday, 74 Sunday. Look at that. Wow. I have a shower threat developing Monday, but we might stay dry until we get into Tuesday and Wednesday of next week. Here's Chris.
That is a gorgeous looking weekend. And the drive, I don't know if we could ever call a drive gorgeous, but trouble-free is as pretty close to gorgeous as we get. Right now we've got a speed limit clip out there, so I don't have any freeway trouble just yet. This weekend, a couple of traffic alerts to pass along the Broadway Bridge, of course. We mentioned this. There is a weekend closure so that the county can do the final part of that deck replacement work. They've got some metal balancing pieces to put in there this weekend. So the closure is from 5 a.m. Saturday until 11:30 on Sunday evening. Of course, it reopens for the Monday morning commute. Important, the south side sidewalk will be open to bikes and pedestrians, and that's good because the annual Bridge to Brews Run takes over downtown Portland on Sunday morning. So be aware of that around Nadeau Parkway and between the Broadway and Steel Bridges. Guys, back to you.
Chris, thank you. So to come on Sunrise, the Strait of Hormuz now open. The latest on the new announcement coming up when Sunrise continues in just 2 minutes.
Hi, I'm Christine Padawanich. I'm a journalist at KGW, and I love exploring Portland's amazing food scene. New spot? I'm there. So I don't just report about our community, I belong to it. What happens here affects us all, and that's why we care so deeply about getting it right. And when local journalism is done right, it doesn't sit still, it moves. It moves you to act, to vote, to volunteer, to speak up, or to lend a hand. It moves your mind by challenging assumptions and offering new perspectives. It moves you forward by giving you the information to make decisions and thrive where you live. And yes, it moves your heart through the good stuff that stays with you wherever you are. And at KGW, we're here for all of it. These are the stories that move Portland.
Well, breaking news within the last hour, Iran has announced that the Strait of Hormuz is open to all commercial vessels for the remaining period of the ceasefire.
CNN's Nick Robertson has the latest.
Yeah, we've just seen a tweet from the foreign minister of Iran, one of the sort of principal negotiators, and of course he's been in conversations with the Pakistan negotiating team, mediating team that's been in Tehran now for going into their third day. And what the foreign minister says, this really it seems to be a positive development. He says, in line with the ceasefire in Lebanon, remember we talked about that yesterday as being an important component to get the Iranians to move along and soften their position. He says, in line with the ceasefire in Lebanon, the passage for all commercial vessels through the Strait of Hormuz is declared completely open for the remaining period of the ceasefire. Not clear if he means the US-Iran ceasefire, which expires in a little under 5 days, or if he means the Lebanon ceasefire, which has a period of 10 days to run. And he goes on to say, on the coordinated routes, as already announced by the Ports of Maritime Organization of the Islamic Republic of Iran. So what does that mean? It seems to be an indication from Tehran that the Iranians are softening some parts of their position, but the United States has said very clearly the core element for them is the Iranian uranium enrichment, the nuclear bomb.
Meantime, the head of International Energy Agency is warning Europe only has about 6 weeks worth of jet fuel left. In a claim made during an Associated Press interview, the IEA executive director warned of possible flight cancellations, quote, soon if oil supplies remain blocked by the Iran war.
The House passed a short-term extension of a key surveillance program, keeping it in place until April 30th. The program, known as Section 702, allows U.S. intelligence agencies to collect foreign communications, but has sparked debate over privacy and government surveillance. The 10-day stopgap was approved just after 2 a.m. this morning in an effort to keep the program from expiring, and comes after lawmakers rejected both a 5-year plan and a separate 18-month extension. The measure now heads to the Senate. Coming up in our next half hour, a bill meant to clarify Oregon's public meetings law now vetoed by the governor. Why she says it could actually reduce transparency and allow some government discussions to happen out of public view. Plus, a local musician excited to share his new album with the world, only to be faced with backlash so loud it caused one music owner to pull the plug on a listening party. What caused the pushback and how the artist is responding, coming up at 7:45.
On Weather Impact Alert Days, stay informed, prepared, and connected with KGW and KGW Plus. Coverage that alerts you to what's coming and how it will impact you. Watch extended weather coverage on KGW Plus.
I'm Trina Green, morning anchor at KGW and new dog mom to this sweet guy. Meet Barry. I love getting your mornings off to a great start, whether it's sharing stories of resilience and triumph in our community, or following breaking news from Beaverton to Gresham and everywhere in between. We've got you covered, because when news moves fast, you need a team that moves with you. Make the move to KGW Sunrise, weekday mornings from 5 to 9, anywhere you watch.
We are just shy of 7:29 on your Friday morning, and we start off with a live look at the roads. We'll get back to this in a second. Wait for it, wait for it. There we go. The roads are in great shape. I just wanted to prove it to you. As we show you the drive times, we've got a speed limit clip across the freeway system, so that's good. A reminder, heading into this weekend, the Broadway Bridge will be closed for the final part of that deck replacement work. That closure is from 5 a.m. Saturday until as late as 11:30 p.m. on Sunday. Rod?
All right, Chris, thank you for that. Well, as Chris likes to say, Friday light, I guess, traffic-wise. He's nodding his head. Yep, we've got a nice weather day coming up. It's kind of a mixed bag of some broken cloudiness to clear skies across our 2 states this morning. And this kind of is a perfect camera because it kind of shows what most of us are seeing. Some clouds, but sun coming through. This is off on the east side up in Gresham, Persimmon Golf Club. Really pretty morning. And maybe I see some white frost on the grass out there. Some areas have been down at least into the mid-30s, and even I think up in Battleground it was 32. But here's our day, 63. And look at the 7-day. Now a dry 70-something weekend.
Good morning. We are taking a live look out at the coast, courtesy of our Chinook Winds Casino Resort Skycam. It is looking pretty out there. Now, typically I say it looks chilly or cool. It looks nice. It looks maybe a little breezy.
If you ever go to Antarctica on vacation,
I would die.
Because you're going to look outside and it's going to be sunny and clear, as it almost always is down there. And you're going to step outside thinking it's great, and you are going to freeze.
Yeah.
In the summertime. I hear it's lovely.
Yeah.
Their summer, not ours.
Yeah.
Got it.
Here's a look at our Timberline camera. We were at the coast. Let's go up high. China, warm or cold? What do you think?
Warmer.
She goes, warmer? Was she? Oh, no, she's wrong.
No.
It's 22 up there this morning. I tell you what, the snow still has that great new look to it, the 20-plus inches of fell over the weekend, over this past week, a couple days back. I think Timberline will warm today. I've got them in the mid-30s this afternoon. Here's Salem. Sky camera, 36 degrees. We've had scattered frosty spots in the valley as expected. Remember, the Weather Service has had the frost advisory up early this morning outside of the Portland area. Now, PDX is holding at 44. Pretty good day coming. Mostly sunny, I think, is what we'll get into. 53 at noon, and later today, 63 for a high. Here's Chris.
Get the sunglasses ready, maybe the welder's mask, for the sun glare on the sunset in just a little while. Right now, we're in pretty good shape. The freeway drive on Friday mornings tends to start a little bit later. It's a little bit lighter at this hour. There's your trip out of Wilsonville. So we're almost back all the way to the Boone Bridge in that direction. So this is northbound I-5 past Wilsonville Road. Traffic is still zipping along just fine on that side of town. Door number 3 takes us to the Sunset. We are starting to get a little thicker coming down the hill from the zoo into the tunnel, but no problems on that side of town. And this is the drive through North Portland again. Far better right now than Monday through Thursday at this hour, and the drive times reflect that, guys. I don't have any major freeway issues out there just yet.
Chris, thank you. Well, the Oregon Department of Human Services is asking for help finding this teenager after he went missing in Eugene back in January. Human Services says 15-year-old Logan Divins went missing on January 26th and is believed to be in danger. He's 5'7" and weighs 235 pounds, has dark blonde hair and blue eyes, and often visits the Pheasant Park Apartments in Springfield. If you see him, call 911.
The Multnomah County Sheriff's Office has arrested a man accused of sexually assaulting a minor, and investigators believe that there may be other victims. They say 37-year-old James Lowry right there lives across the street from Troutdale Elementary School, but the minor identified in this case did not attend the school. Anyone with information should email the Multnomah County Sheriff's Office or call the tip line at the bottom of your screen there. That's the number 503-988-0560.
Prosecutors say more than 100 victims have come forward against a Washington County man accused of sex abuse and harassment. 23-year-old Cedric Valdez was arrested in January at the Hillsborough Esplanade. He's accused of approaching women and teens in large retail stores or parking lots, claiming to be a reflexology student, saying that he needs help with a school project. Now, according to court documents, he would ask them to go to their cars where he would massage and in some cases kiss their feet. Prosecutors say he admitted to being sexually attracted to feet and said he'd been doing this sort of thing for 5 years. The victims range in age from 14 to 47. Now, earlier this week, a judge allowed Valdez to stay out of jail until trial, but required he be tracked with a GPS monitor. And remember, if you or someone you know has dealt with sexual assault, help is always available. The number for the 24/7 National Sexual Assault Hotline is on your screen. That's 1-800-656-4673.
Well, this morning, Governor Tina Kotek is taking action on a bill tied to Oregon's public meetings law.
But instead of signing it, she's sending it back, saying that more work needs to be done. Sunrise reporter Corey Johnson is live in the newsroom with those details. Corey.
Yeah, Matthew, China, in a letter explaining her decision, Governor Tina Kotek vetoed House Bill 4177, saying it could unintentionally weaken transparency while trying to clarify Oregon's public meetings law. Now, the bill was meant to bring more clarity, but the governor says it may actually create more problems. The language would have created an exemption for some or all members of local governments to meet privately in order to gather information related to decisions they would later deliberate on publicly. Now, that would mean city councilors, county commissioners, or school board members, or even the full body could discuss policy, spending, or other issues without first notifying the public or the media, according to transparency advocates. Now, Kotek says she's heard from people on all sides of the issue, from transparency advocates to public officials, who are all looking for clearer guidance. But the governor says the bill's current language risks creating new ambiguity and potential loopholes that could undermine public trust. Now, she also points to ongoing challenges with inconsistent guidance from the Oregon Government Ethics Commission, which she says has added to confusion about how to follow current law. Kotek says she wants her office, lawmakers, and key stakeholders, including the media, to work together on clear solutions ahead of the next legislative session. Matthew?
Corey Johnson reporting live from the newsroom. Corey, thank you very much. Meanwhile, Kotek also signed an executive order Thursday to keep kids in the classroom longer.
Yeah, Oregon has one of the shortest school years in the country, and recently several districts have slashed school days to make up for budget deficits. Sunrise reporter Thomas Schultz joins us from Jason Lee Elementary School in Northeast Portland with more. Thomas, good morning.
Hey, good morning, guys. And yeah, look, they have one of the shortest school years here in Oregon. Fourth and eighth graders in reading and math are also among the lowest nationwide. And here's the thing, advocates say over a kid's education from kindergarten to 12th grade, they have 195 less school days than in other places. That's more than a year less of school. Governor Kotek's executive order does a few big things here. First, it protects current instructional time from further cuts. Districts who cut class time this year or plan to next year must submit plans to the state that show how they'll restore lost time in a couple years. The order also ends a waiver system that allowed districts to fall below the minimum number of instructional hours. In Oregon, used to allow parent-teacher conferences or professional development to count as instructional time. That now comes to an end.
We can simply not get better student outcomes if we continue to give our students less instructional time. Research shows us that reduced instructional time negatively impacts student learning, particularly for students already facing disparities, which widens the gap we all know we have to close.
But here's the thing, not everyone's in favor of this idea. The Oregon Education Association, which is a huge union player in state politics, criticized Governor Kotek for not including them in the decision making. OEA President Enrique Ferreira wrote in part, quote, "Where public education is concerned, this is an all-hands-on-deck moment to address the problems that face Oregon, not a moment to make short-notice changes." This action shows that Governor Kotek may not be aligned with us on that. Some school districts are also speaking out. Portland Public, Oregon's biggest school district, says that with more instructional time that is pushed on to them without more resources in terms of money from the state, they may have to cut staffing. Kotek says the state is looking into whether or not they can provide some more funding for schools after this decision. Matthew, China.
Our Thomas Schultz reporting live this morning. Thomas, thank you very much. Meanwhile, there is another new measles exposure site in the Portland metro area. This time, people at Mount Hood Community College in Gresham may have been exposed. Health officials say a person with the virus was on the main level of the Gresham Campus Academic Center, Building 17 on Monday between 10 a.m. and 1:50 p.m. Anyone who was there during that time should contact their doctor, especially if they're not vaccinated.
Your time now is 7:38. Headed over to Rod Hill. Look at that little
there's some out there.
Clouds, there's water.
Yeah, the clouds may be winning a little bit right now, but the sun is coming on strong. coming around the bend. It's going to pop out. It's going to increase. We're going to have a nice day. This is the Vancouver that springs to the waterfront, looking at the Interstate Bridge and the Columbia River. And by the way, the crane right here, that's the new marketplace that the Port of Vancouver is constructing. And it looks like they're starting to get the pieces in play for at least the platform out over the river that marketplace is going to be built on. So they're making some progress. 43 is the number. About half of you are in the 30s, especially it's been colder out on the west side this morning. There's Sherwood, Beaverton, Scappoose, Hillsborough, Forest Grove, all in the 30s. Happy Valley holding at 40, Oregon City 41, Canby 43, and then there's McMinnville, one of the colder spots currently, still setting at 33. So again, we've seen on our cameras some scattered light frost out there this morning. Not unusual for mid-April, of course. Pet of the day is Riley. Beautiful photo here. Use that email address, petoftheday@kgw.com. Send us your pet's photo and we'll feature them on the show. That really is a pretty dog. Riley, thanks for being on our show today. All right, a dry day. Kind of partly sunny to mostly sunny. Again, nobody with a rain chance, and it will be warmer today. I mean, it was in the 40s yesterday across much of eastern Oregon, but today up into the 50s. Bend could hit 60, 59. I think for a high from Kelso down to Eugene, every one of our reporting sites will at least hit 60, and then 50s at the coast. Our forecast, Portland maybe as warm as 63. Look at the weekend. All weather models agree we have no rain chance here in the Inland Valley. It'll be dry, mostly sunny tomorrow, partly sunny on Sunday, 73 tomorrow and 74 on Sunday. Shower chance on Monday, maybe. We could stay dry at this point until we get into Tuesday and Wednesday. Pretty good looking forecast, Mr. McGinnis.
Yeah, don't hurt your arm too much. Pat yourself on the back there for that. All right, I'm not getting any pats on the back for this. We got a little trouble now. It appears northbound I-5 near Breeze Hill. Possible fender bender here between 99W and Capitol Highway. I don't see it on camera, but traffic is certainly slowing. It might be right there. Not sure. In any event, one little slow spot on the freeways. Otherwise, really, we're off to a pretty good start on this Friday morning. We haven't really had any freeway trouble out there. There's the drive through North Portland. That is zipping right along. Door number 3 shows us the sunset. We are tapping the brakes a bit coming down the hill from the zoo. A reminder this weekend, the Broadway Bridge, after it reopened last weekend after the 6-month closure, the county has just a teeny tiny bit more work to do on that final deck replacement stuff this weekend. So with that in mind, the bridge will be closed to all motorized traffic from Saturday at 5 a.m. to Sunday at 11:30. The south sidewalk will remain open for bikes and pedestrians, and that's good because the annual Bridge to Brews Run, of course, is Sunday morning in downtown Portland.
All right, Chris, thank you.
There's a lot of musicians out there worried about AI, and they've got valid reasons to be worried.
A Portland musician facing backlash over his new album, why the local listening party was suddenly canceled, coming up when Sunrise continues in just 2 minutes.
KGW News at 11, tracking breaking news when every moment counts.
What an evening for neighbors as this all unfolded.
Alerting you when weather impacts your day.
Doppler radar showing all the rain over us.
Investigating the issues that affect our communities.
Investigative reporter Kyle Bochi has our top story.
And highlights from the teams you love most.
The champs are here. The big stories and the facts first, so you can wake up prepared.
Stay up, stay informed with KGW News at 11.
Want more Sunrise? We got you covered.
You can stream an extra 2 hours of live morning news on KGW streaming apps.
Good morning.
That means more local stories and extended coverage of breaking news.
Plus live weather and traffic updates as they happen.
And this is our first trouble spot of the morning.
We have a gorgeous day coming up.
We are live on KGW Sunrise, weekday mornings from 5 to 9. Stream on your time with KGW.
A Portland musician is at the center of controversy over his new album made entirely with AI.
Yeah, a local record store had planned to host a listening party for it, but as John Adams shows us, it was canceled following public backlash.
A listening session for Portland artist Brandon Carmody's new album was supposed to take place here at Music Millennium on Monday, but the event was abruptly canceled due to widespread pushback to the album.
Carmody used an AI program called Suno to make the album, which was titled AI. The album is meant to be a wider conversation about our society's use of artificial intelligence. He tells us the tracks were created using a series of prompts to create its rock sound.
This is the first record that I've made completely from prompts, without playing the keyboard, and that's also terrifying to me.
Music Millennium owner Terry Courier said he received complaints from employees and the wider music community about the listening session, leading to his decision to cancel the event.
There's a lot of musicians out there worried about AI, and they've got valid reasons to be worried.
Though disappointed, Carmody has no hard feelings.
Kudos to Music Millennium, they made the right call.
And says the blowback is an opportunity for a wider conversation about the use of AI in music.
There is a conversation to be had here. They're raising moral and ethical issues about traditional musicians versus AI, and I have to respect that. I have to maybe take this moment to enter into an honest discussion.
Despite the controversy, Carmody is doubling down and is set to release another album of AI-created songs this weekend.
Some people are going to look at AI as a great tool for their music, and other people are going to scoff at it.
Courier believes AI usage in the music industry isn't going away at this point in time, but hopes this leads to a resurgence in live music.
This wasn't created by a computer. These people are playing, and this is their talents.
In Portland, John Adams, KGW News.
In your consumer headlines, Dairy Queen is moving to AI drive-thrus. The chain is partnering with Presto Automation to use voice AI for taking orders. After testing in corporate stores, the company is now expanding the feature to some franchise locations. Executives say the technology has improved order accuracy and customer experience. The first AI drive-thrus are expected to roll out in the coming weeks.
Well, Honda is recalling more than 440,000 minivans over a potential airbag defect. In some cases, the airbags deployed without warning, leading to injury risks. The recall impacts 2018 to 2022 Honda Odysseys. If you drive one of those vans, you are urged to bring it into a dealer for a free fix.
And for the first time in more than 60 years, Nutella is launching a new flavor. The company is introducing Nutella Peanut, blending its classic chocolate hazelnut spread with roasted peanuts. You can buy the new product at major retailers nationwide. Company officials say the new flavor comes after years of requests from customers. Nutella is one thing that cannot be in my house because I will eat it by the spoonful.
So
cannot.
I don't think I've ever had it.
So I've never had the spread or anything. The only time I've ever had it, there's this restaurant in Columbus that makes these like donut balls that are filled with Nutella.
Yeah.
And they're like to die for.
Really good.
Oh yeah.
I'm sorry. I've never had
That's
Nutella. This is the
I don't think I have.
I'm not like a.
Well, I'm a purist when it comes to a similar spread, the Skippy Chunky Peanut Butter.
Oh, you like chunky?
So I'm not going to bypass the Skippy, has to be Skippy, Chunky Peanut Butter to try something else. I'm just not going to do it.
It's totally different.
Is it?
Totally different.
Is it?
I'm going to have to get him Nutella.
Why I just can't trust anybody that prefers chunky peanut butter over creamy?
See, my family does the creamy.
Yeah.
But my dog and I, Maximus, we both like the super chunky.
All right.
Is that Nutella on your bagel or no?
No, it's just peanut butter.
Just peanut butter, okay.
Plain peanut butter.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is there peanut butter on there?
Yes,
Oh.
a little bit.
Oh, okay.
It's a really
a lot
thin
of
bagel.
calories in peanut. It's an English muffin.
Oh, it's an English muffin. Okay.
You guys, get off of my breakfast.
I do like English
sad?
muffins.
Yeah, they're good.
Yeah, I like it. All right, here's our Timberline camera. Look at this. Bluebird, bluebird, bluebird. Remember, they had what, 21 inches of snow fall up there? midweek. Had a lot of people on our live cameras up there skiing and boarding yesterday. And I bet you the mountain's going to be pretty busy today as well, as that snow is still pretty fresh. 22 is the number. They're still reporting a base well above 80 inches on the ground, so they're in pretty good shape, actually. Here's the way it looks up there. It's a chilly morning, 29 at Government Camp. Looks like the highway's starting to get more wet, but obviously there were some icy spots. You can tell that early this morning from the leftover snow that never completely got off of the road. Here's Santee Anne Pass, looking nice, and there's bright. It's pretty, right? Because everybody has snow, all the passes roadside, and it's 20 degrees. Cold, but it will be warming. The freezing level today jumps up to about 6,500 feet. So I've got Timberline warming to 36, and Government Camp at least up into the 40s, and could go as warm as 47 later this afternoon. Again, bluebird conditions. This is our dry Friday, both Oregon and Washington, depending on where you are, kind of partly to mostly sunny skies. A big story for the weekend, this is noon tomorrow, is the upper level low with the clouds and the rain that all week I've had a raindrop on Sunday's forecast. At times I've had one on the latter part of Saturday. Well, all the weather models now, and they have varied, but all of them now are in sync, and they all show that this simply stays out to sea, and we have a dry, warming weekend. Now, if there's any exception to that, here's Sunday. Gets a little closer to the shore. So I would check forecast if you're going to go to the beach Sunday, just see what's up. This shows a cloudy start to our Sunday, but the rain holding off and generally becoming kind of partly sunny even at the beach. But today and Saturday will be the sunnier days, and then Sunday will at least have some cloudiness. I do believe that's probably realistic. Here's a look at our Rose City camera. Kind of partly cloudy out there right now. 44 degrees, no wind being reported. Other temperatures, 41 up in Astoria. The Dow's about the same, 42. It's cold out east. Burns is still at 19 degrees this morning. Here's our 7-day forecast. Really nice stuff. Remember, we've been, certainly below normal, if not chilly, the last couple of days, but today back up to 63. That's pretty much considered normal for this time of the year. And then we go back up into the 70s starting tomorrow. 73, 74 on Sunday. Could still be in the 70s Monday. I have a shower chance on Monday, but we may not see any rain at all until we get a developing or increasing shower chance on Tuesday and Wednesday. So this, I give to you. All right, Chris.
I thank you so much, Rodney. All right, and we all do. All right, let's get you out the door. We had an earlier trouble spot on Breeze Hill, I-5 northbound, just north of 99W prior to Capitol Highway. It looks like ODOT's gotten in there and cleared that fender bender to the side, but there is a little bit of local slowing getting around that. You can see here again, this is the 99W on-ramp. And that's I-5, the main stem there running just a little thick. All right, we'll switch gears real quick. Door number 2 through North Portland. Traffic is still zipping along just fine there. Door number 3 takes us over to the Sylvan Hill. Sun's starting to peek up and get right into the driver's eye. Actually, this is near the zoo, just down the hill from Sylvan. So a little bit of slowing on the west side, but not bad. 20 minutes gets you in from Hillsborough to downtown. Matthew?
Chris, thank you. Still to come on Sunrise, newly reported personal texts from Labor Secretary Lori Chavez-DeRemer and her husband. We'll have the latest on the ongoing investigation when Sunrise continues after this.
I'm David Molko, the evening anchor at KGW. Though when I'm not working, I like to spend as much time as possible out here in nature. So I don't just report about our community, I belong to it. You see, what happens here affects us all, and that's why we care so deeply about getting it right. And when local journalism is done right, it doesn't sit still, it moves. It moves you to act, to vote, to volunteer, to talk about it, to speak up, or to lend a hand. It moves your mind by challenging assumptions and offering new perspectives. It moves you forward by giving you the information to make decisions and thrive where you live. And yes, it moves your heart through the kind of human storytelling that stays with you wherever you are. And at KGW, we're here for all of it. These are the stories that move Portland.
The race for Oregon's governor seat is heating up as a crowded field of Republicans looks to take on incumbent Governor Tina Kotek in the general election. Leading GOP primary candidates include Senator Christine Drazin, State Representative Ed Deal, Marion County Commissioner Danielle Bethel, and former Portland Trailblazer Chris Dudley. Now, those frontrunners took to the debate stage last night. Take a listen.
My solution is to return cities the ability to enforce their own camping prohibitions on public land.
For far too long, our leaders have been feeding the machine. And the homeless nonprofit industrial complex has continued to expand and grow homelessness across our state. We need to demand accountability for the people that are receiving those dollars.
First step is prevention. We have to get the drugs, and I call poison, the things that you do once, twice, 3 times, and they either kill you or do such damage that it takes years to recover. We have to get that off our streets.
There is no system in this state right now to help a family stabilize with their vulnerable family members. Not only do I have lived experience about this, but as a county commissioner, I work on this every single day.
Keep an eye out for primary election ballots, which will be mailed out on April 29th. The deadline to return them is May 19th. Meanwhile, we've been following controversy surrounding Labor Secretary Lori Chavez-DeRemer earlier this year. The former Oregon Congresswoman was part of a misconduct complaint.
Yeah, her husband was barred from the Department of Labor after sexual assault allegations. Now, the New York Times, which first reported on the scandal, says the Labor Department is looking into some of the personal texts from the couple to young staff members. According to the Times, Chavez-DeRemer has been asking employees to bring wine to them during trips for the department, even in the middle of the workday. Her husband, Dr. Sean DeRemer, has also reportedly exchanged text messages with young female staffers. In one such conversation, a staff member texted him and apologized for not being in touch. The Times reported Dr. DeRemer responded, quote, "You better. I was feeling forgotten. I figured you were still in church repenting after your exposure to the demon state of Oregon." KGW has previously reached out to the Labor Department when the controversy first came out. Its spokesperson says it is the policy of the department to not comment on personal matters. Well, coming up at 8, KGW Sunrise continues on KGW Plus with a charity leader sued for stealing donations.
Yeah, where the money he's accused of stealing was meant to go and the things he allegedly spent it on.
Want more Sunrise? We got you covered.
You can stream it next